I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
There are some great holiday movies that come up over the Christmas season to get you in the mood. And I'm certain that my family and I have seen a lot of them. And there was this list of the top 65 movies that someone compiled, and we were passing around opinions with our different groups of friends. But I have to say, I don't know who made up this list. Some of these movies I never even heard of before, and some of them I'm thinking, how in the world did you even get on the holiday list? But last night, my husband and I were looking to watch a good holiday movie. And we went to Amazon Prime and asked Alexa Christmas movies. And it pulled up a bunch of recent movies that we had not seen. And one of them, The Christmas Candle, had 6 stars and just tons of opinions that said how great this movie was. And so we decided to watch it. And it was one of those movies where you almost cry in spots, laugh in spots, and you're just amazed. And the story of The Christmas Candle, which we had never heard of, is a British film where an angel visits the candle maker's shop every year, anoints a candle, and as the candle maker sells these candles, somebody gets that Christmas candle and their wish is granted or their miracle is granted. And people are praying for all kinds of stuff that they want, a husband, sight, the ability to speak, being able to walk, all these different miracle things that people are wanting. And so they're all looking forward to being the one to get the Christmas candle. So this was one of those great movies that I would highly recommend. And then, of course, there is this movie that made the list that I liked, that I thought was funny, Die Hard. And it isn't, you don't feel like it's not Christmas until Hans Gruber is falling from the top of the Nakatomi building. So the Nakatomi Tower. So anyway, that's just an aside. But some holiday movies that have great inspiration I actually have a small list. Black Nativity, which came out in 2013, which has Jennifer Hudson as the lead. And that was a movie that would really draw you to tears. It was a great, great movie. And then there's Last Holiday with Queen Latifah, where she gets a diagnosis that she's going to die. So she cashes in all her money and decides to go on this great holiday. And it is an enthralling movie. But before I go down my huge list of all the best stuff, what is some of you guys, Cheryl and Naima, what are some of the best holiday movies that you like and remember?
Well, Cheryl, I'll let you go first. I have my short list.
Yes. Let me say, well, I tend to go old school, and this is my thing with holiday movies. A lot of like rom-coms are just, they're kind of cookie cutter.
What are
I like romantic comedies.
School me. Okay, a romantic comedy.
So anyway, I tend to like some of the older ones that we grew up watching, like Miracle on 34th Street, the original one with Natalie Wood. They did another one a few decades later.
Yeah. And isn't as good.
And yeah, it was colorized and everything wasn't the same. And that was the same thing with a lot of other movies that we've seen. Now, It's a Wonderful Life, which actually did not come out over the Christmas holiday originally. But it became like this classic. The thing that ruined It's a Wonderful Life for me was before I ever saw it, I saw so many takeoffs on it from every TV show did their own version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Really?
So by the time I really saw the movie, it had kind of ruined it for me. And I also saw it a particular year that they had apparently the rights were like just out there, so it was on practically every single night. You couldn't turn on the TV without it being on. But if you take a step back and you don't see it colorized and you see it the original and you only see it once, it's worth it. But my favorite probably is not a movie, but a television show, and that is A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh,
And that is, I remember, Naima, you were really little when that first came out. That was like in the 60s.
I think I was like 4 or something.
And I remember Mama saying, "Oh, if you're really good, I'm going to let you watch A Charlie Brown Christmas." But that became one of our classics. And I will tell you, not only do I cry every single time, but when I can, and I can read that passage from the book of Luke or in church, it
does
always
anyone know what Christmas is really all about?
Yes, that's the one. Well, I went to search for, the second chapter of Luke, and that's where that comes from when Linus is telling him what Christmas is all about. And I like, and then of course we've got different versions from the Bible on that, but I actually like the language, the beauty of the King James. So that's my favorite. And a close second might be the Grinch, but the cartoon, not the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, I think you've named all of mine.
Sorry.
I mean, mine was Miracle on 34th Street. I always love that one. And A Charlie Brown Christmas, of course, that's my number one favorite. I always cry when he decorate a little pitiful tree,
Yes.
I even bought one year, who was I forgot where I was living, but we got one of them little pitiful trees just in honor of Charlie Brown.
Yep.
It was a little sad looking thing, but it was.
And the first year that Eric and I were married, we didn't even have a real tree. We had a coleus plant, and we could only put one really light piece of tinsel on it so it wouldn't bend over and be dead.
Go, I've killed it.
But I will tell you something else that we grew up with that was our favorite holiday movie, and that was The Wizard of Oz. Remember that?
But actually, they used to always, it was usually February when they would put that on.
Yeah.
That also,
like with what is that? The 10 Commandments. I think they usually do that around Easter time. Usually.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But that of course that's always a favorite.
And Heidi with Shirley Temple.
Heidi, now that's a good Christmas movie that I like. Heidi with Shirley Temple. That was good. I always like things with some kind of moral of the story where bad people learn how to be good, or get
or are eliminated.
Yes. Well, you know what? We're going to show our age here, but there were also some other ones like The Little Princess with Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
The Princess. What was The Prince and the Pauper?
Yes, the original with Earl Flynn.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing is that some of those old ones are really good. And yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I've only seen it a couple of times.
Die Hard, because I don't know if I
Bruce Willis. It's very violent, and that's whole thing.
I've seen it once, but I usually don't watch violent movies, or if I watch them, I'm in somebody else's house and they're watching it, and I'm being polite and sitting there, but that's. I do remember Die Hard.
There's also one that
when I was watching it.
We haven't talked about, and that is Home Alone.
I've seen Home Alone.
And
I will tell you that there is a thing in Winnetka, Illinois, with the original house that was in that movie that's set up like a museum, and you can go through and experience all the stuff that those robbers experienced. It's like a haunted house.
Like, why? Well,
like stepping on a nail with your bare foot. I mean, would you really want to do that?
Well, this is what's funny is that I went to my sister-in-law's yesterday we went there for Christmas, and there's a house right across the street from them. And when I stepped out of the car, I said that looked exactly like the Home Alone house. It's a beautiful big house, and it was all decorated with all the stuff on all the windows and stuff. It looked just like that. But the funny thing about Home Alone is that Siskel and Ebert, may they rest in peace, actually did not like that movie when it first came out, and they gave it 2 thumbs down.
Why?
Wow.
They just thought it was awful. They thought it was obnoxious. And what happened was that it became so popular, they went back and they re-reviewed it. They says, well, let's see what we missed. And then they kind of got into the spirit of it, the whole thing. But that was one of the rare times where they got a do-over, I guess you could call it, for that movie. But that's also the second one. It was like, okay, lady,
most sequels I can't stand.
How many times you're gonna forget your child and leave them?
Yes, before CPS become involved.
Yeah, right. Yeah. End up in false.
But the thing that made it hilarious is that Collie McCulkin was a little kid, and you kind of got into the hilarity of it, because truthfully, when someone else was reviewing that movie, they said, well, should those crooks be charged with attempted murder? Because those things they tried to do were things that would really kill somebody, and then the stuff that the kid tried to do to them would really kill somebody. And then the crooks kept coming back and getting more. How real is that? So you have to get
fantasy. It was like one time we were watching The Grinch, the cartoon, and one of my brothers-in-law says, in real life, when they were on the cliff, he says, in real life that wouldn't happen. I says, honey, it's a cartoon. So
damn, people ruin cartoons. Like,
it's like, the best thing about Christmas is the magic of it, and you get to suspend a lot of belief, because none of this stuff would happen,
Well, I'll tell you another one that I liked where an angel is involved is The Preacher's Wife, and Denzel Washington is the angel that comes down to help them along in their problems. That's
a remake from The Bishop's Wife or something like that.
Yes, from a very old one.
I like the Denzel Washington version, of course.
Well, who wouldn't? It's Denzel.
Denzel is in.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a really good one. And
and the one thing I have to put in here, he's my birthday twin. Only by 2 years. Yes, his birthday is the same as mine.
Oh wow!
But he's a couple of years older. But so he's my birthday twin.
Yeah, my birthday twin. That really handsome dude in Best Man. The Best Man, 1999. Yes, we have the same birthday.
Yeah. That's something. What do you know? Yeah, that's a good film. Now, you mentioned what is that? Last Holiday with Queen Latifah. I really like that too. That was really nice.
Yeah, that was very good. I liked when she was going through her cookbook after she found out that she had a terminal disease. She's going because she's a well-rounded businesswoman who is also a chef herself. She's
now
going
don't
through
give me spoilers for anybody who wants to see this movie, because I don't think I've seen it.
Oh well, I tell you, when she's going through her cookbook, she says, "I should have ate that."
Well, yeah, you start thinking if you only have enough time, you don't have much time
to enjoy the things of life.
Enjoy life, yeah.
And truthfully, what you just said, Naima, is true, because we all only have a limited amount of time. We just don't know what the expiration date is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Curtis Kojo Morrow, who's watching, says he doesn't have one. Kojo, I know you got a favorite Christmas movie. Come on.
Well, then you're going to have to look at some of the ones.
Name some. Because really, a lot of these movies are free now on Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever movie
Hulu
thing
or
you have. YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of movies are on YouTube that are totally free. Now, depending on who copied it, you might not get a very good resolution. You may as well just go ahead, go to the thrift store and find the DVD and just buy it for $1.
$1. Well, probably a lot of the old ones you can.
Yeah.
Especially like the ones that and then the classics, you can find them somewhere on TV,
White Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like
St. Mary's.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. So Curtis says he's never had one. Oh well, and my friend Kojo, he's been around a while. So he's what are you 70, 80 something now? Yeah. So he's been around with the old films. But
Yeah.
like the old black and whites even.
Yeah.
But
Elf is one. I was never fond of Elf, but my students went on and on like Elf was like the bomb. And I was like,
now that reminds me one I really like. What was that? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the Grinch who so not the Grinch, but the Abominable Snowman.
Oh, the puppets. Oh yeah, that comes out.
Yeah.
That's also a good one. And it's funny how you moralize this. Is like, wait a minute, they were so nasty to him. I would have said, you know what? Tough. When they said,
find your way yourself.
Yeah, find your own way. But
well, there is an original story that actually goes with how Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer actually became a movie and a storyline with this young man who was having problems at home with losing his job and his money, and he wrote this story and it went real big. It was about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he was reflecting on how he was treated and bullied as a kid. Really, the whole story came out. This was the background from it. I learned this the week before Christmas because I subbed for the music teacher, and I got to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer 8 times that day.
So you're saying that the story arose from somebody who had gotten bullied? And
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, Mama Joy says her favorite movies are A Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, 34th Street, Home Alone, and The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and The Preacher's Wife.
All good ones.
Yeah, and also A Christmas with Peanuts. Now that's saying the Charlie Brown Christmas.
I think that's that's a Charlie Brown Christmas.
I think they did they did a Thanksgiving one. That's what they did.
They did Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And a Halloween one, the Big Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yeah. So and they expanded. Of course, they got what's his name, Roosevelt, the black guy with Charlie.
Roosevelt or Franklin?
No, Franklin. Yeah, right. Why do I think Roosevelt Franklin? Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, his name was Franklin.
Can we revisit Elf? Because I saw Elf.
I hated Elf, but
Well,
I hated it too. Sorry.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Coach says he's learning a lot listening to us.
Well, this is what's funny about Elf, and that is that it was not funny. I saw that when Sarah was little. I don't remember when it came out. I want to say she was 7 or 8, and I took her and her friend to see Elf in the theaters, and I was appalled. Really? I just thought, it's really kind of violent.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be. It started out being kind of funny, and then there were some parts where it was really violent. And I'm sorry, the uncomfortable tight costume that he was wearing was just a little bit much. And to me, it was supposed to be for kids, and I felt like it was really kind of dark for the children that it was supposedly geared to. It was more of an adult film than it was.
A lot of times they'll market something as kids movie, but it's really not. Like a joke.
Really not. And I don't think it was PG-13. I think it was PG or something like that.
Yeah. So over time they've moved the line of where they put the rating on certain movies. There are movies that were rated PG that before they might have had like PG-13, and so they move it back to
keep moving the line. And so Elf is not one I would recommend if you have little kids. Now, I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan. He's okay, but that was, to me, it was really kind of mean spirited for I
wouldn't have wanted it for my child. But you know what? A movie that I really liked. And wait a minute, it just went out of my head, but it was Toy Story. Yeah.
All the Toy Stories were
All
good.
the Toy Story movies
All the
are
Toy
just fabulous.
Yes, they are. And of course, then you start getting that weird thing where you start thinking that your kids' toys are real. But
Well, I always thought mine were.
or maybe that's just me and my own issues.
No,
But I just love
they
Toy
really are
Story.
moving around when you're not watching.
Yes.
And Shrek's another one that I really like. It came out one year over Christmas.
Yes, they actually even did a Shrek Christmas special.
Did
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, probably, when Shrek was really good, was really popular. So
Kojo says he couldn't figure out why all the Christmas stories were white folks. I guess the latest ones
not the ones that I named.
Yeah.
Well, the Queen Latifah,
not Black Nativity,
Holiday, and the Preacher's Wife with Denzel Washington,
and Black Nativity with Jennifer Hudson, Last Holiday with Queen Latifah.
And of course, a lot of the old movies, that was like before they had invented black people.
Before black people existed.
Yeah, that was so.
Yeah, we didn't exist yet.
Not much before.
We didn't exist before 1965, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why a lot of the mainstream, you just didn't see us.
Yeah, Leave It to Beaver had no black friends.
No,
nor than Opie or Andy Griffith.
But let it.
They did add black people later.
Yes, can I just say that we are kidding about that? That yes, we do know that black people did exist. Please don't come into our DM saying black people have always been around. Yes, we know that.
Yeah, you have
to hear first.
Sarcastic humor, yes. But the thing about it, I guess a lot of the movies. Yeah, I mean, it was during an era where they just kind of pretended we weren't there. So that's why we weren't.
Or there was war, but I know when you do
unless you were servants or something like that, we did not.
Yeah, and if you do research during what was happening during the times of a lot of these lighthearted movies, there was war. There was there was the Depression. There were all kind of things that were happening in the world for real, and the movies were made to help us have an escape, a lightheartedness, because we were dealing with such drudgery during the times a lot of those movies were made.
And that's why during the Depression you had all these things with the musicals and the the people who were rich and all this other kind of stuff, because that was their escapism, while after you get back from coming with with the government cheese and all the other kind of stuff that they were giving you. But that's the thing. And Christmas is a form of escapism.
Of course.
All of these movies, it's about promoting. It's not even, especially the best ones, really are not about promoting the capitalism, and that's the disconnect.
That's why I like It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, that's why I really did like It's a Wonderful Life. And I think that probably has one of the best messages. And you always think about, what if I didn't exist? And look at all the lives I've touched. So, I mean, it does kind of help you reflect on that.
Except that Potter
real good with those.
Potter got away with that, though. They never did find he stole the money.
Yeah. Oh, I saw one where Saturday Night Live episode where they showed how it would have happened if they'd have done it, and they caught Potter.
They beat him up, but you know what? That skit went on a little too long till it got real cringy.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live they tend to be a little over the top sometimes. But within the last 40 years, Coach was saying we're talking about the last 40 years. Let's see, because this is 2020, 21,
going into 2022.
So you're talking about the 80s. I mean, the Charlie Brown Christmas came out in the 60s.
Right. And other stuff.
But there are things that came out in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. And some of them are just classics that you see over and over again because they are heartwarming. They do have a lightheartedness about them. They take away the darkness in our world that we have to face. And a lot of these movies, even though they provide escapism, some of them really give good life's lessons.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Kojo says Xmas is about money. Now we have Kwanzaa. Well, you know, if we're not
have any Kwanzaa movies?
Well, you know what? The Rugrats, you all remember the Rugrats. They actually
I never watched them.
Well, yeah, you know, your kids were probably, well, your oldest was too old for the Rugrats.
Yeah, you know, I escaped Barney, so I'm like pleased.
I was babysitting people who had Barney age children, so I end up watching Barney.
No, I did Barney. But you know what?
I'm sorry.
The Rugrats actually had a really good Kwanzaa special. They had
really?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's good.
I may have even.
Rugrats was actually good in terms of, because it was interracial, so that was kind of. It
was interracial, and no matter what, the people always did put the kids first. There was one where they did where they were they went to an island or something, and the one thing about the parents always tried to save the kids first. It wasn't any like, okay, y'all for yourself. They really were all good parents.
So
that was the thing that I appreciate about the Rugrats. Barbara, you probably missed the Rugrats.
Yeah, totally.
And I got into the Rugrats because, like I said, Sarah's the youngest. So
and I think I was babysitting people who had children that age. So
I was all into the Power Rangers.
What's
I was the Power Rangers.
What was that?
I missed that.
What was that? What was that cartoon that Kyla Pratt was doing the voice over? I'm trying to remember.
Are you talking about the Proud Family?
I think maybe so, because I think they did a Kwanzaa special one time. As a matter of fact, my friends who have a Kwanzaa song, it was on that show. Kwame and Shabanduka, they do this Kwanzaa song, and so it actually was used on that. I remember, that's my friends. Yeah, that was on the TV show. So
I actually saw part of that today. What was I on? I was on one of the social media, maybe it was Twitter, or maybe it was it might have even been TikTok or Instagram. One of those things I was on, and they were showing part of the I think it's the Proud Family, where they did a Kwanzaa and they were explaining Kwanzaa. So there still are now we as a family, we never celebrated Kwanzaa.
No, we didn't. I don't think it come into vogue when we were children.
No.
Yeah, well, it was just kind of getting started. Because I remember Lou Palmer on the radio would talk about it, but I didn't really get into it until as a kid was going to a school, Betty Shabazz International Charter School, where they celebrated every year. So I mean, it became part of the holiday tradition. But anyway, it's time for us to go, everybody. Thank you all who watched and participated. We appreciate it. And this holiday season, enjoy your movies with your family and friends, and reminisce and have fun, because that's really what it's all about. Just enjoy life.
Yes.
And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook, 3 Black Moms. I'm Naima.
I'm Cheryl.
I'm Barbara. New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We are 3 Black Moms. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black Moms.